Hi, hello, good morning. It is the last week of my summer break from uni. My internship has already started, so it's not really a break anymore, but my classes haven't started yet, right? Before we had guests over, I thought I was gonna do a video on like the craft chores, so blocking my works, weaving in ends, all that stuff. Blocked my work, didn't do anything else. So, gonna try again. I already blocked those pieces. I will probably show you at some point this week because I'm going to be wearing them. I have ends to weave in. 2 sweaters, a shawl, and a bunch of granny squares. Then I have the granny square blanket to assemble, put a border around. And I started this. This is yarn that's been in my stash that I got on sale at some point, and I don't actually really like it all that much. And I decided I'm just making like 15 row granny squares like this, and then that's gonna be a little blanket, and then I just have like bigger granny square stuff to make. So that's what I'm gonna be working on this week, hopefully. This week is kind of busy for me. I have a lot of things, but also a lot of like potential things, because a lot of stuff isn't set in stone, scheduled clearly yet. It's gonna be like last minute, and I hate that so much. Anyway, I have about an hour before I have to leave to see my parents, go to the dentist, have dinner with my grandma. So in that hour, I'm gonna see if I can weave in all of the remaining ends on the 2 sweaters that I have. Okay, so this is the tub of stuff that needs ends weaved in. We have this green sweater that I made while working on my thesis, because it's a granny stitch and I can do that without looking at it, and it's very anxiety management for me. I have this shawl. I'm pretty sure I was happy with the length. I have more of this yarn, but I'm pretty sure this is just good enough. Yeah, this is big enough for sure. So that has some ends, and then we have Mako's Shy Demon sweater that needs some ends weaved in, and I'm gonna start on this one because this one actually has a deadline. Not this Friday, but the Friday after. I am going to give this to him for the trade, and then I'm getting a tattoo. So that one needs to be done the earliest. I'm gonna look for my darning needle and just lock in for an hour. Hi, hello. I just got back from the quilt group with the nice little grannies. Sadly, this is the final time I'll see them until at least after Christmas. Maybe longer than that, because the uni schedule does not allow me to go anywhere on Wednesdays anymore. But I did wear the top that I finished a while ago and that I blocked recently. And they thought it was very slay, very cool. Fun, great, amazing. I'm gonna get into my pajamas now and have cozy comfy on the couch craft day. Wahoo. Also have a snacky. I should have food. Hi, it's now Thursday. Yesterday I kind of focused on quilting when I got back from the quilting group because that's what I wanted to do. I do have all of these ends weaved in. Nice little sweater. 2 of these finished, 1 started. That's in my bag to go to campus later today for the introduction stuff. We've got all of the ends on this one weaved in. Slay, love that. And of course, this one too. That's the end weaving on finished projects, so I can actually use them and or give them to the person they are supposed to go to. Now, the other part of end weaving that was part of this week's task goals, which I'm not expecting to finish, by the way. I don't know if I made that clear at the beginning. I'm not expecting to finish this, but I'm expecting to make progress, okay? Important distinction. big box of granny squares. Where is the... Here it is. This is what I have so far. I think the width is fine. I would like it a little bit longer. I have plenty of squares, so weave in ends on the squares and then sew the squares together in their pattern. Very fun, very cool. Hi, I finished weaving in the ends. Here's the pile of all of the squares, which I wasn't expecting actually getting done, honestly. I've got piles. This is like one set of rows, like one dark row, one light row. I've got 4 of these piles. Amazing, right? I am going to have to make more squares though, because I also have this. I have like 2 and a partial pile with the dark green, and then I have a bunch of the beigey color with none of the light green in it yet. So I can have more of that. What I have right here in squares is enough to double what I have so far. And that will be great visible progress on this blanket, and that'll be more than my goal for this week. My main task was weaving in the ends on the sweaters, and I finished that, so absolutely winning. So happy about this. And it's only Friday, and like tomorrow I'll work, so I won't get a lot done, but I also have the entirety of Sunday. Sometime in these 2 remaining days, it's like noon now, so I have a lot of time left in today. Wonderful. Sometime in these 2 remaining days, I would like to get some reading done, and I'm going to be periodically checking stuff for uni, seeing if I can access syllabi, seeing if I can get something done. So far, it's a little bit vague, or I'm just not looking in the right places. That's also very possible, but I am a little bit confused, and it's annoying me, because I have miraculously been in the mood to work ahead. But I can't find work to work ahead. So maybe instead I'll just find like a non-fiction book, like something on teaching, something on language, or something completely different. And I'll just like read a non-fiction book, and that'll satisfy my, I want to do something productive smarts-wise instead of crafts-wise. Anyway, where's my sewing thread for this? That's still attached to there, maybe not. I'm gonna get started. So the way I do this is I take these 2 piles and I flip one upside down, right? I attach these 2 together, and then I kind of like in sewing you call it chain piecing, like in quilting. I don't have a lot of quilting experience, but there you call it chain piecing. And then you have like all of this is attached lengthwise and none of it is in the width. And I just continue doing that until I run out of squares, and then I go back and I do the other sections, and then it's all attached. And then I take that big section and I sew it onto this big section. And that's gonna be great. Hi, good morning. I got some good progress in yesterday. Hold up. That's pretty good. There is some more stuff to attach. I will be doing that when I get back home from work, and I'll be making those remaining squares that I need. I'll be taking a yarn with me on my lunch break to see if I can get some in there, but that's not too big of a time thing. What I also did yesterday was get super sidetracked, because I remembered, oh, I picked up my sewing machine from my mom's attic, and I wanted to see if it worked. So I grabbed some fabric from my like random fabrics that I got for cheap at some point, and I made a little pillowcase. It's really cute. Considering I haven't touched a sewing machine since I was 12-ish, this is super good. Very happy with this. The like closing of the pillow is a little bit scuffed, but no one's gonna look at that because the front is cute. So, good news is the sewing machine works, and I know how to change thread and wind the spool and all of that good stuff. Less good news is that I need to take it apart to clean it, like very thoroughly, because it's dusty and a little yucky. But I'm gonna need to look up what I should use to clean it so I don't like mess up the whole thing by cleaning it. And then I can use it. I would also like to see at some point, probably next week-ish, if I can use the sewing machine to sew hexagons. Because that would speed up the thing I have in progress right now a lot. But sewing machine works, good progress on the blanket. I'm going to work now. Bye-bye. Hi, good morning. So I finished all of the squares that I still wanted to have. And I wove in the ends, so I'm gonna attach them same way I've been attaching them the entire time, and then I'm gonna stitch the other direction and then attach it to the main blanket. And I think once I've done all of the assembling of the granny squares, I'm gonna take a little break, go to the gym, and then when I get back I'm gonna crochet the border. We're actually finishing this today. It's 10 a.m. We're finishing this today. I was not expecting that. I was expecting this to take like at least another month of me ignoring it. Slay, winning, good for me. I'm gonna put on my tunes and focus again. Hi, hello. So I have 2 more rows to sew here. Just these 2. The rest is attached. And then I gotta attach it to the main, not the main thing, this one's bigger than that one, but to the one I already had. Good news! It's still the middle of the day, I have plenty of time to finish that today. Bad news, while sewing and assembling, I decided I wanted to be wider, so I'm gonna need to make more squares, and I will not finish that today. So, I'm bored right now. I just got bored like 2 rows before the end. I'm gonna put it in the storage, and I'm gonna go to the gym now, do groceries, prep stuff food-wise for the week, meal prep, whatever. And then I'm gonna finish sewing this and show you. And that's gonna be it for this week, because it's Sunday and I still have to edit this too. You know, I was excited to have it done today, but also if I put the border on it now while I know that I wanted to add more rows to it, I'm gonna not be happy with it. So it's okay. I'm gonna do that. Hello. Finished weaving in all of the ends of the sewing. There was a lot of ends to weave in. This truly was the week of weaving in ends. Anyway, pow. It's about the length of me, which is perfect. And it's like single person bed wide, which is also fine, because I'm gonna put it lengthwise at the bottom of the bed, I think. But it's very cozy, comfy, very good size. Love it, love the way the colors worked out. So the reason I want to add more squares to this instead of just finishing it, right? This row ends on the beige and light green, right? That side. This side ends on the dark green. and light green. This side ends on the dark green, light green. And this side also ends on the dark green, light green. So I'm gonna make 21 extra squares and sew them on here and weave in more than 42 ends, because I'll also need to like attach it here, and I'll have an end, two ends at least extra for every square. So that's gonna be like 80 ends to weave in, because I didn't pay attention to how many rows I was doing while doing this. I'm so good at this stuff. But ooh, crunchy bones. When that's done, so that's a next week problem, right? I've got this sheet, this fabric. It's like a nice gray. It doesn't show up very well with the kitchen table, like dining table. It's not in the kitchen. Anyway, this is like half a not a mattress cover, like a duvet cover. That had a hole at the top of it, so I just cut it into 2 halves, and we're using that for like quilts and stuff. And I was like, this is a granny square. Granny square blankets have the issue where this happens very easily. Typically when I use these as actual blankets, my feet get like tangled in them and I don't like it. So what we're doing is we're taking this duvet off the duvet cover, and I'm gonna sew that onto the back of this. And then it has, you can't really see it through this granny square, which I like. But what's going to happen with it is that it's going to be like a self-binding thing, right? Because it's sewn to the back. And it has a little bit of leftover fabric at the end, and then you fold that over twice and you just sew that. It's going to be a thinner strip than how I'm holding it right now, but gravity is not with me. Anyway, that is a next week or potentially even later problem, because it is evening. I have class tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Good night. Thank you for joining again. I have no clue what I'm doing next week, because it's a full uni week again, and I have no clue what the schedule is gonna do for my craft time. I don't know how much energy I'm gonna have. So I'll see you then, and we will see how that goes. Bye-bye.